Private equity, investment banking, hedge fund, or venture capital? Are they your passions for a career? If so, go to budsforfinance.net and learn about my 30 years of investment banking experience at Goldman, UBS, Drexel Burnham, and McLaren Capital Partners. What is the key to interviewing? Well, the key to interviewing is that you really should have two objectives. The first is getting the ball over the goal line, which is not as easy as it sounds. And the second is telling the interviewer something that he or she does not know, and telling them in a way that is highly compelling. So let me give you a first example of what I mean by getting the ball over the goal line. And this all really comes back to the whole theory of the warrior ethos and focusing in on a successful completion of a mission or of a transaction. This happened literally just in the last couple of months. I'm not going to mention what the name of the firm is, but there was a candidate, MBA candidate, and he was being sort of groomed for a position in a very niche sector of this mega fund. And everybody just really liked him. He came out of a great school, compelling, good looking, all that kind of stuff like that. So at this firm, everybody knows that as you progress through the process, that every single round you start talking with more and more senior people, and at the end you wind up talking with the department head. So the department head comes, and happens to be that the department head is a very good friend of mine, and so they're talking, and the interview is going sort of well enough. All this guy needs to do is to get the ball from the 5-yard line into the end zone. He's doing that sort of reasonably well, and all of a sudden, two more questions left, and the department had asked him what would be a totally simple question. He could have answered it in, it's a multiple of, boom. All of a sudden, this guy sort of goes into this absolutely crazy answer about how you would value the particular assets that they were focusing in on. And all I can say is there was no final question. There were 2 questions left. That was the end of the interview. So my friend called me up and he said, listen, you're sort of the expert on this. Everybody loves this guy, but he just had a complete sort of brain fart on this. Other people have asked him the same question, and he sort of answered it reasonably well. What do you think I should do here? So I looked at him and I said, I spoke to my friend and I said, how would you feel if this guy was in a meeting with your largest customer, the largest pension fund, he has $4 or $5 billion with you, and somebody just asks him a question and he goes off into some crazy kind of diatribe, like this, right? Obviously you'd have a lot of explaining to do, not just to the pension fund, but to your bosses, but to your partners, as to how you knew that this guy had a tendency of flying off the cliff, and it would not be a good situation. So, although he might be your top candidate, he could not get the ball over the goal line, was the exact term I used to him, and he's not somebody who I would hire. Part of the problem was that academics, these stupid teachers at undergraduate and graduate schools, come out and teach kids these stupid concepts, and most kids are mature enough to realize that these teachers are just teaching them a bunch of BS, but they're mature enough to come up with what the real truth is, and that these professors all have some sort of agenda. This guy obviously wasn't smart enough to do that, so that should just tell you something about his maturity, his lack of ability to just get the ball over the goal line. So here's a perfect example of a guy had the ball on the ends, just like inches away from the end zone, and he fumbled it. Okay. Second thing is you always want to tell the interviewer something that they don't know, and tell it to them in a highly compelling way. The truth is that when you're interviewing at the analyst, associate, and even at the VP level, that a lot of times these guys will just ask you questions that they don't even know the answers to themselves, but they just want to see how you're going to approach it. Okay, are you going to panic? Do you actually know a little bit about finance, or enough about finance where you can answer that? That's really what the expectation is. That's the base expectation. When somebody asks you a question and you can go into some concept that they have no idea, they've never heard of, but they bring back to their boss, and the boss says, "Where did you hear about that?" Yes, that's like so far above somebody's pay grade. That is highly compelling. Or if you have a certain view of why say phantom banking is going to have a certain effect on the job or the growth of the firm that you're going to be, that somebody hadn't thought of, or whatever it is, you are going to be a highly compelling candidate. And if nothing else, this literally has happened on several occasions where after the interview is over, the interviewer has pinged one of our students, said, "Can you sort of walk me through like how this MAD ratio works again, or how capital structure optionality is valued, etc." Because they had never even heard of these concepts. So you think those people gotta call back for interview like at the end of the day? Absolutely. Okay.